There was a man in Medina who was so poor that his children slept hungry. His house had nothing but bare walls. Yet one night, after a simple piece of advice from the Prophet peace be upon him, his entire life changed. What happened next is something every believer should know. The streets of Medina were alive with merchants, buyers, and travelers. But in one corner, in a small mud brick house, silence hung heavy. A man sat with his head in his hands. His wife quietly kneaded dough, trying to stretch the last handful of flour into something edible. His children stared with wide, empty eyes, too tired to cry, too hungry to sleep. One child whispered, "Father, will we have food tomorrow?" The father's chest tightened. He could not answer. He remembered how, in the marketplace, people passed him by. No one wanted his labor. No one cared for his struggles. He felt invisible. That night, he lay awake. The sound of his children's stomachs growling echoed louder than the wind outside. With tears wetting his pillow, he whispered, "Ya Allah, I have no one but you." Next morning, he walked slowly to where Prophet peace be upon him sat with his companions. Dust clung to his clothes. His face was pale from hunger. With trembling lips he said, "O Prophet, my family has nothing. I try, but whatever comes slips away. My children are hungry, and my heart cannot bear it any more. What should I do?" The Prophet peace be upon him looked at him with eyes full of mercy and replied, "Recite Surah Al-Waqi'ah every night before you sleep. Whoever recites it regularly, poverty will never come near them." The man lowered his head. He thought, a single surah? Could words alone fill my children's stomachs? But his heart whispered, if RasulAllah has said it, then it is the truth. That evening, he gathered his family in their dimly lit home. The oil in their lamp was nearly gone, flickering weakly. His children sat around him, confused but curious. He opened the Quran. His voice cracked from exhaustion, yet he began. The children listened quietly. The words filled the small house like a gentle river. The verses spoke of the day of judgment, of the great division between people, of Allah's power over wealth and poverty. As he read, his wife felt her heart ease. The children's faces softened, even though their stomachs were still empty. For the first time in many nights, there was hope. The very next morning, there was a knock at the door. A neighbor stood outside with a tray of food. "I don't know why," the neighbor said, "but I felt compelled to bring this to you today." The man's eyes filled with tears. He looked up at the sky, whispering, "Ya Allah, you heard me." Days later, while walking in the market, a merchant called out to him, "I need an extra hand for my caravan. Can you work?" He agreed, and for the first time in months, he earned enough to bring home bread and dates. His children ate with joy. His wife smiled through her tears. But this was just the beginning. He continued to recite Surah Al-Waqi'ah every night. Soon, something strange happened. His work brought more income than before. Even when little entered his house, it lasted longer. Opportunities began appearing. People he never knew before suddenly offered him help, trade, and work. It was as if unseen doors were opening, one after another. One day, his wife told him, "Our home feels different. It feels lighter." He smiled. "It is the blessing of Allah's words." The man realized something powerful. Wealth was not just about coins and food. True rizq was Barakah, blessings that made little feel like plenty, that replaced fear with peace, and hopelessness with contentment. As time passed, he became known in his community, not for wealth, but for generosity. The same man who once had nothing now gave to others quietly. When people asked him, "How did your life change?" he would answer, "By a surah that Prophet peace be upon him taught us. I never let a night pass without reciting Surah Al-Waqi'ah." Dear listener, this story is not just his. It is ours too. How many times do we stay awake at night, worried about bills, debts, and expenses? We plan endlessly, but our rizq feels tight. Surah Al-Waqi'ah is Allah's gift to His servants. It doesn't rain gold from the sky, but it brings doors of opportunity. It fills what little we have with Barakah, and it makes our hearts rich even when our hands are not. Asterisk. Tonight, when you close your eyes, remember this story. Take your Quran and read Surah Al-Waqi'ah. Make it your companion before sleep. Because Allah's words are not just sounds, they are keys. Keys that unlock doors we cannot see. And if you want more real waqiyahs and life-changing stories like this one, subscribe now and be part of this journey.